This is Russ. Yeah, I'm back out on the road again. What am I riding today? Yeah, it's the Lectric XPress 2. Now here's a change to the XPress 2 that we made. Yeah, I got the suspension seat post. The suspension seat post that was sent to me. We mentioned on the review that, hey, what happened to my suspension seat post? Yeah, apparently they forgot to send it to a number of people, so they sent them all out. So I installed it. Hey, much nicer. Much nicer, yes. And I changed the saddle out too, even nicer. I moved it out to the Bikeroo original saddle that I bought for the very first e-bike that I had, which was the Rad Rotor 5 way back in, well, over 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago. So yeah, the combination of the wider saddle, the suspension seat post, nice ride. Yeah, the suspension seat post and the original seat post are both very tall. So you don't have any problems if you're a taller rider and you want full leg extension. Not even a question, you could do it. But the there's the mirror there. I put the X-Needle mirror on here. Somebody asked me whether that would work on this swept back handlebar. Yeah, it'll work, no problem. Take a closer look. You see that? So it's right on the crook of the handlebar right here, right where it turns back. That's where I put it, and it works perfectly fine, extends perfectly fine. You don't even see your shoulder unless you really move your arm out, like, you know. But if you're riding normally, yeah, you barely see it. I think I just see this much of my shoulder. That's it. Well, it's actually my arm that I see. And I put a cell phone mount on here, which I reversed, so in case any text messages come in, you don't get to see that. Now, I only have 70% battery power on here. I didn't charge it back up since the last time I rode it, but I'm not going to go too far. It's kind of a muggy day already. It's 75 degrees. It's gonna go way up into the 90s today. And so I decided I better get out there now before I can't get out at all. It's about 6:15 in the morning, something like that. Yeah, friends at church asked me, they says, hey Russ, are you gonna go out riding this week? Only if it's way early in the morning. Yeah, I don't do too well at 90 something plus degrees. I think it's supposed to go to like 94, 95 this week. Yeah, we're not doing that. No way. Yep, Russ melts at that weather. So, I smell garlic. Somebody's cooking up something. So anyway, how's this bike riding? It's actually doing really well. I really like this bike. For the money, it's kind of hard to beat. It's, you know, the thing is with Lectric has always been high value type bikes, right? They give you a lot for the money. Good customer service backing it up. Yeah, I like it. Let's keep going. We're just in our old neighborhood here. And just kind of riding around. Well, the one thing I will say that I miss, having been gone for like 3 weeks in the other area, is they had some really nice scenic areas, don't you think? They did, yeah. And then the last video I made, what did we see? We saw a lot of water, yeah. It was like kind of a waterfront ride. It's a forest preserve and waterfront ride. A lady waved to me, I had to wave back. And so, yeah, this is mostly neighborhoods out here. Someone asked me, has the regulations in my area affected me much? I would have to say not that much, other than the fact that the speed is limited for me, because I ride mostly on the street, as you know. If I was riding a lot in the forest preserves in this area, the speed would be even lower, of course. And in some areas, they don't even want the bike on there. There's a bike path that cuts through, as you know. in my area, and yeah, we're not even allowed to be on it. So in that sense, that affects me maybe a little bit. Let's turn here. But if I'm just riding around the neighborhoods here, no, it doesn't affect me all that much. Some of the other regulations that happen in our area, you know, you got to wear a helmet. Well, I already do that. You got to be at least 16. Well, I'm already that. Way over that. And so, yeah, staying at 20 miles an hour or under, 750 watts. Okay, that does affect me in a sense, because technically many of my bikes do peak above 750. But would really affect me? I don't think so. Police have already told me, at least in our area, they're not going to be stopping us for stuff like that. They said, you know, if you're riding fast and dangerously, that's another story, but I don't do that. So I don't do that as I turn and change, go past the stop sign. Stop sign's always been the issue, but again, as you know, I do go past the stop signs after looking around. If there's nobody around, I mean, nobody in front, nobody on the sides or front or back, I will just keep going. But I do slow down and look, okay? So that would be the case whether they try to regulate me there or not. I don't hop off the bike. Yeah, I still get a lot of comments like that, believe me. I mean, the people who make those comments, they don't just comment, they shout at you. You know what I'm talking about, shouting? Yeah, where they, you know, all caps and all that kind of. It's like you blew off all the stop signs. Yeah, how does that affect him? Well, I guess they do, because he says, look at what you're doing, you're making it bad for the rest of us. Well, not if nobody's around to see it. That's how I see it. If they're not around to see it, and if I'm not really affecting them hard, how am I really affecting you? So anyway, enough of those guys. Yeah. So what else is going on? Well, like I said, I'm just kind of going around the neighborhoods here while I can before it gets warm. Yeah, I mean, even if I waited until 7 o'clock, you know, 45 minutes later, it's going to jump that thing up to 75 to 77 already, and it's just going to keep going. Now we see over here, some of the guys are watering grass and stuff. I got to do that too. Yeah, it's going to be a hot one today. I think when I get back, maybe I'll turn on the watering of the grass. Yeah. You know, it rains so much that's what's really been helping the grass out, but with the upcoming heat, it's not going to be good for it. You have to do something. So I've been pedaling a good chunk of this time, throttling every now and then just to kind of get moving forward a little bit quicker. But basically just, now take a look at that car. Did he stop? No. He did the same thing that I do on a bike. Go yell at that guy. Same thing, it happens a lot. Happens a lot in this area, believe me, it's not just me. Cars do it too. They don't see anything, they keep going. Well, technically they saw me, but they kept going, see? So after he did it, I did it too. That's the thing. Let's turn here. Now there are turn signals on this bike. I'll tell you, a lot of times I forget to use the turn signals, but again, no one's around to see it, so what's the point? I mean, if people are around and using it would help, sure. Yeah, it's a nice bike, this XPress 2. Check it out if you're looking for a bike that's within a reasonable price range. You know, the swept back handlebar makes it a lot easier. In my opinion, it does. You know, you don't lean as far forward because the handlebar being straight. And it's not hard at all to get used to this. I mean, to me, it feels really good. You know, I've always said, whether it's bikes or other products that I'd be looking at, I'm always leaning towards the less expensive product that can do a good job. Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I have like some very expensive guitars, but I love picking up my less expensive guitars too and playing it because I said, wow, this thing does a really good job for the money. It's kind of hard to beat it. Sounds really good. Same thing with my bikes. You know, I do have some pretty expensive bikes and I've had some real expensive bikes. And, you know, when I see one that's less expensive and has good value and actually performs really well, yeah, I'm actually kind of drawn towards that, sometimes more so than the expensive bike. Anyone can make an expensive bike that's good, but try to make an inexpensive bike that's good. That's the difference. Yeah, I'm actually wearing a t-shirt today. I usually wear some type of collared black shirt, as you know. I've got my yellow safety vest on, but underneath it I have a black t-shirt on, and the t-shirt says Expedition. Lectric Expedition. Well, I got that t-shirt when I was out in Arizona visiting Lectric a couple years ago. When I first started getting involved with Lectric, yeah, it gave us a whole bunch of t-shirts. So I'm actually wearing that one right now. I figured, hey, it's a warm, muggy day. I'm not wearing a collared shirt if I can avoid it. So I've got that shirt on. Yeah, it's got little graphics on there. It says Expedition. Well, this isn't the Expedition, this is the XPress 2. And that would have been the Expedition 2, right? They originally called it the Expedition 2.0, but they've dropped it 0.0. That makes no sense anyway. I mean, everyone started calling stuff point something because of computers. You know, the software changes, the 0.1 change, a 0.2 change. Hey, why do you need that for bikes? So they dropped it. It's now just called XPress 2, Expedition 2, XP 2. Yeah. So yeah, I like this bike a lot. Thank you to Lectric for letting me continue to keep riding and testing out their bikes. Let's turn back. And we're just going around in circles here. We're going through the same general neighborhood. All right, so now this one, we usually slow down really quick because the cars do not stop going across right here. So yeah, now is that technically a stop? Well, technically no. Came really slow without falling off of the bike. But did I physically stop and hop off the bike? No, not gonna do that, forget it. Would a cop stop you for that? No, they would be really desperate for writing a ticket if that was the case. Yeah, see, it's kind of like a slow it way down and then just kind of keep going. That's as good as you get. It doesn't get any better than that. All right, let's turn here. I'm putting my hand out because the turn signal only shows to the back and there's nobody behind me, so what's the point? And even if you had the turn signal on, you still got to stick your arm out because the guy in front of you doesn't know that you're wanting to turn. So you got to still use the hand signals. Yep. Yeah, nice riding bike. Go get yourself one of these. If you're still looking for a bike, you want a full-size commuter style bike, you know, 26-inch wheels, get one of these. Yeah. Use the affiliate link too while you're at it, because that helps me out, lets them know that you saw the video and that you're going over there because of me. It doesn't cost you anything extra. All you have to do is click the link in the description to get to Lectric and then place your order from that point. Yeah, that's how the affiliate links work. They usually don't cost you anything. All it is just go to the descriptions, click on the button and get there. It's a convenience link instead of having to type it all out. Plus, it does help the channel a lot. Yeah, we get a very small commission when that happens. Yeah, they don't give us a ton of money, but still, you know, what it does is it tells them, hey, I saw his video, he is doing his share. Give him another bike to review. That's basically what it is. Yeah, so help us out. Yeah, I'm telling you, a lot of the bikes coming out nowadays have been commuter type style bikes. They haven't really been fat tire bikes. Well, some of them have, but you know, I'm getting a lot of these thinner tire bikes. I'm getting more used to doing it. Yeah. I recently got a chance to speak to one of the local e-bike stores, not in this area, in the other area. And I mentioned to him, I says, yeah, it seems like more commuter style bikes are coming out compared to fat tires. He goes, yeah, because they're selling a lot more. Yeah, people are getting more yeah, let's turn here. More used to these commuter style bikes, and so companies, will keep making more of whatever people want, and it seems like people want the commuter style bikes. Yeah, it is actually easier to maneuver. Yeah, I have to say that the fat tire bikes, they're heavier because the wheels are big and the tires are big and heavy, right? So it just adds to weight, and they're not as nimble. So there you go. Oh, here's one thing that I noticed with the XPress 2 and some of the, well, I should say a good chunk of the other Lectric bikes too. Now, I hadn't taken this bike out in a while. It just, after the review, it just kind of sat there for a while, and then, I was gone for like 3 weeks. And let's turn here. If you don't use the electric bikes in a while, you have to wake up the battery. Like when I first got on the bike and I hit the power button, nothing happened. I go, okay, I know what's going on. You got to take the battery out of the bike. Okay, take it out of the bike, take it out of the down tube, and push the button that's on the battery. That wakes up the battery. Put it back in, and then you can ride it. Kind of a hassle, but it's a safety thing for their batteries too. The hassle is that, if it goes to sleep, you have no option but to take the battery out and push the button. That's kind of a pain, right? But will it be okay for me for the next day or 2 or 3 or whatever length of time it is? Yeah, I won't need to do that all the time, but let it sit for a week or 2. Yeah, you might have to push that button. So taking it out is kind of a pain. Just an observation. Does it slow me down that much? No, not really, but it's just something you need to know that you have to do in order to use the electric bikes. Where are we at here? Oh, I see. Okay. I don't think I've ever come down this way before. I mean, we're going to go on the street that we've been on before, but right here, but never got to it from that area before. Not that I know of. Maybe you guys know. A lot of you guys have mentioned that you recognize my areas because I've done it so many times that you just know. That's true. We've been riding these streets for years. It's okay. It's okay. So here's another little quirky thing about this bike that you need to know. There's a battery gauge. I went from 70%, it says 60%. In this particular bike, it goes, I keep running over twigs. It goes by tenths. Tenths? Yeah, well, I guess that would be the best way to call it, because it went from 70, it went to 60, there's nothing in between. So it's going to go from 90 to 80 to 70 to 60. So you're not going to have anything like, and now it says 50%. You're not going to have anything that says 52, 53, 54. You're not going to get that. It only goes in tenths. So just be aware of that. If it's at 20%, it'll jump right down to 10% real quickly like that. So you got to know your battery thing on this particular meter doesn't go in individual digits. Every 10% it'll change. So we don't got that much power. We got half the power of the battery. That's enough for what we're doing today. Now, I was going to take the Expedition 2 out, but I know I didn't charge that battery for a while too. Now there's 2 batteries on there. The last time I looked at it, I had one battery was lower, the other battery had full power. Yeah, I could just push the button on the one battery and just start draining that one and use this lower power one as a backup. The one thing that I like about the Expedition, it's always hard to say with electric because they're all X something, X this, X that. The one thing that's hard with the Expedition is it is long and heavy, okay, because it is a cargo bike. I'm trying to decide what I should do here. Let's go back this way again. And so maneuvering it in and out of the house is sometimes a chore because all my bikes are inside, as you know. And I remember when I took the Expedition out the very first time. It was the very first bike I ever rode that was electric. It was out in Arizona. Apparently, one of the batteries wasn't seated properly when they gave me the bike. It was in the cradle, because it's got dual battery, right? It was in the cradle, but it wasn't seated right. And so what happened was I had ridden it so much, pedaling and throttling. You know, I went out with a bunch of guys, Scott Hardesty, myself. I don't know who else was with us. A couple other guys was with me too. And I was like, hey guys, my battery is like almost dead. They go, no, how could that be? Because they still had a lot of battery power, because we were all riding Expedition 2s. And then we looked at it and go, hey, wait, this battery's not seated properly. So they kind of seated it for me. they kind of jammed it in there. Yeah, because we didn't have the keys. They didn't give us the keys to the batteries. And so, yeah, they kind of jammed it in there, and they got it to click in there. So I was able to ride back. Otherwise, I would have been stuck out there, because I would have ran out of the battery halfway through. We went quite a distance. Yeah, we went quite a distance when we were out there. So, yeah, thanks to them for figuring that one out. Because we're looking at this, he's got 2 batteries. Yeah, if you don't seat it in there right, it doesn't make a good connection, right? It's not going to work. But what I like using the Expedition 2 for is distance, because it does have double batteries. I think there's 17.5 amp hour batteries. You got 2 of those, so you got like 35 amp hours. So you got a little bit more range with that bike, and it has proven itself, because we took that thing all over. We went some distance with those bikes. And I'll tell you, those other guys, yeah, they move pretty quick. Yeah, we were riding streets. We were going all over the place, and we were going on a path that's parallel to their water. I don't know what that path is called. Yeah, it was a fun time. Yeah, something a little bit different. Let's take a turn over here. All right. That was I don't know if that was a moped or a scooter or something. Scooter meaning like a moped type scooter. You know what I'm talking about? What do they call those things? Like a Vespa? I think that was what was behind me. You heard that motor. So yeah, now this bike is a new one. I didn't get to ride this out in Arizona, but this is a new one that got shipped to me, right? So yeah, they keep updating the bikes a little bit. I think a lot of companies, if they had a successful bike, they'll come out with a version 2, version 3, right? Yeah, there's no reason to dump it and just come out with a different model. You know, they just tweak it a little bit better. And those usually come from feedback from customers. And believe me, they do look at the YouTube videos and the comments too. So if you have comments you want to tell Lectric, yeah, put a comment. Let them know what you think. If you bought one of these, let me know. And if you bought one through my link, let me know. Yeah, it's a good bike. I like it a lot. Now you might notice I don't usually shift my gears. We got trigger shifter gears here, but yeah, we gave ourselves a wave there. I don't change it all that much. I'm on gear 7 right now, and that's because we're pretty flat here. Yeah, we got pretty flat riding areas here in the suburbs of Chicago here. At least this suburb does. And so I use the throttle to move me up a little bit faster if I've gone a little slower, and then I just start pedaling again. So I don't shift back and forth. Somebody mentioned to me in a comment, or he didn't mention it to me, but made a comment. He said he didn't understand. It wasn't commenting about electric bike, but another bike. That he says, I can't understand why this reviewer says that he can't ghost pedal. You can ghost pedal any bike. Well, you pedal hard enough, you'll ghost pedal any bike. But I'm just, you know, if you're going past its stated speed, let's say speed limit is say 20 on that bike and you pedal like a madman, yeah, you'll ghost pedal. But I said, you know, on an everyday usage, getting to 20 miles per hour, do I ghost pedal that? And the answer would be no. No, I don't. I don't think anyone would. Plus, you know, I said I have a replaced knee and bad hips. I says I would never ghost pedal unless I was pedaling like him. Like, he says you pedal hard and fast enough, you're going to ghost pedal. Well, I don't do that. So my experience is no, I never ghost pedaled that bike. Yeah, you have to qualify, you know, stuff sometimes, I guess, to let them know. But a lot of times my viewers know what my situation is. That's even in the description of my channel. If you go to the main channel, it says, you know, I was getting over my knee replacement and that's how I got onto e-bikes. If you read some of that stuff, and if you've been watching for a while, you know, right? I can't pedal like the average person might be able to pedal. But back here again, let's take a look. Nobody's here. But I do my best, and I think that's how a lot of the companies got in touch with me originally, is because I kind of represented that segment of the market that they were kind of going after. You know, you got, at that time, think about 5.5 years or so ago, during pandemic time periods, people wanted to get out on bikes. And a lot of us were older generation people too, who wanted to get back riding a bike. So I kind of fit that. And then on top of that, you got a guy who had a knee replacement. You know, a lot of you guys have those type of ailments too. So yeah, I kind of fit that generation. And that's fine, you know, and that's how these companies started to say, hey, maybe we should get involved with this guy. Since then, of course, things have changed a little bit. My knee is pretty much back to the way it should be to a certain point, right? But not as strong as maybe your knee. My hips have issues now, though, you know, but when I'm sitting and riding on a bike, it doesn't seem to have an issue, right? I don't have any weight on the hip joint riding a bike. Standing up and walking, that's another story. I would have issues because, turn here, because, you know, then you got your own weight on your hips and everything, then you got problems. So, anyways, that's about all I have for you guys for today. I just wanted to take the bike out one more time. Yeah, we're down to 40%, but who knows if it's truly 40%. It could be between 30 and 40. Don't know. Time to bring it back. Hey, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I do appreciate that if you do it. It does help us out. We are growing slowly, but we're growing. Yep. We're 23,000 something subscribers at this point. So yeah, got to keep it moving. Go to the More from Russ channel too if you want to hear more other things that I have to say that has nothing to do with e-bikes. Sometimes it does have something to do with e-bikes, so it doesn't hurt to go check it. All right, talk to you guys next time. Stay safe out there. Keep cool. We're gonna hit 90s today. This whole week we'll be in the 90s. Talk to you guys next time.